Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Level 1 podcast for Sunday, the 17th of September, 2023. I'm Darkside Phil. I welcome you here to the show this lovely morning. A different kind of show today because we don't have crazy amounts of news to cover. Last couple of days, we had quite a lot of news stories to talk about. Today, we have one which we'll reminisce about a little bit. It's more of kind of an anniversary story than anything else. If you're not aware, today is the actual 10th anniversary of the release of GTA 5. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But outside of that, not too much going on. And so today's show will be more about recapping what I've been doing. Yesterday, particularly, we finished the story of Mortal Kombat 1, and we actually had a little sneak peek of what Invasion mode is going to be. So we'll talk about that, as well as the conclusion of Chrono Trigger, which was very emotional for me unexpectedly. I wasn't expecting myself to have that reaction, but hey, sometimes it tugs at the heartstrings and you get the feels. You know what I'm saying? So, it was a good day yesterday, and today, of course, is the weekly React day, where we're going to head over to DSP Reacts and watch the variety of clips that you guys have nominated on my show, DSP versus the Internet. And we're going to have more Mortal Kombat 1 Invasion gameplay tonight as we attempt to unlock tons of content, including the remaining cameo fighters and other customizables and things before we get further into the game. So, we've got a good amount of stuff to talk about today, just nothing too crazy. Likely we're going to have a lot more time for interaction and Q&A. Just for those who are here live, I don't know what's going on with YouTube today. Like, my viewer count is very weird. Here's what I mean by that. Typically when I start the podcast, all right, it'll be around, say, between 100 200 viewers. As I was starting the podcast today, it said I had 90, which is weird, but then it skyrocketed and said I had 130. Then it said I had 80. Then it said I had like 100. And it's kind of been pinballing all over the place. And it never usually does that. And I've noticed this. It looks like viewership on YouTube, there's some weird way that it's changed the way that it's being calculated. It's just odd. And again, it doesn't really affect anything. But I just want you guys to know, if you're watching live and you're like, why does it say we have this many viewers? Then it's way low. Then it's high. Then it's low. Then it's high. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it's accurate or not. It's not a big deal. I broadcast for my audience every day, regardless if there's 5 viewers or 5,000. I really don't care. I'm just having a good time. So as long as it's working for all of you, and I did ask everyone in the chat, I said, the stream seems to be working correctly for everyone, right? Like, you can watch it, you can hear it. Everyone seems to say it sounds and looks the same. So I don't know what's up with the YouTube view counts bouncing all over the place this morning. If you're watching on demand, it likely is not going to affect you. Maybe it will. I don't know, because I don't know if, like, view counts on videos have also been affected. I told you guys I'd say the last month to 2 months, I've noticed a distinct dip in viewership in my videos. But the weird part about that is I haven't seen any decline in support or income. And what I mean by that is, like, my ad revenue has remained the same. My my membership revenue has remained the same or been better. So if I have less viewers, why would all my income be exactly the same? Doesn't seem to make sense, does it? You would think if you have a decline in viewership that you would have a decline in support, but I haven't, which leads me to believe something's going on with YouTube, that maybe they changed the way that views are being calculated. It could be. I really don't know. It's also weird because, for example, the last couple of days we've had more people on stream supposedly to watch Mortal Kombat 1. I've seen my streams having 400, 500, 600 viewers, but the chat seems exactly the same, which doesn't make sense. If we have hundreds more viewers, why is no one talking? That doesn't seem to make sense, does it? I'm just confused. But again, for me, I am a different kind of content creator than most. I'm making content for a smaller, more dedicated audience that likes what I do the way I do it, so it's curated content. You understand? If people from outside of my regular channels happen upon my content and watch it and enjoy it, great, welcome. You have to become a subscriber of the channel to talk in the chat. Just so you know, it's a 24-hour sub mode because there's so many trolls and things with bots and stuff. It has to be like that. We had it before that. It was a nightmare. No one could talk. It was nonstop spam and bots, okay? So welcome to everyone who is maybe a newcomer. But I do find it odd that recently there's all this weird stuff. View counts seem to be lower. Views are bouncing all over the place. Yet somehow I'm not affected. I don't get it, you know? Like, see, the thing is, I don't really care. I'm making content as long as you guys like it and things haven't, you know, declined, which they haven't, you know, I'm happy. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for enjoying. Don't worry too much about it. I'm certainly not worried. You know, I don't care. Right now it says we have 179 viewers. Typically on a podcast, we'd have between 200 and 300 and then increasing at the beginning of the show. Sometimes we have more than that if it's like a new release. So maybe it's just because today's React Day and there's less attention. It could be accurate. I don't know, but it was weird that it was bouncing all over the place earlier. Don't worry about it. The sky is not falling. The world is not ended. It doesn't matter what the views are on individual videos. Everything seems to be fine. Okay? So there you go. Someone actually, Acid Face says, maybe they only count logged in views now. I mean, that would be a huge change. Because tons of people who use YouTube don't log in. They just go to YouTube and click on a video and watch, and then they're out of there. They don't have an actual account they're logging into. You think that could be the case? Maybe that is the case. Maybe they're not counting logged in views anymore. See, the thing is, it doesn't matter. Back in the day, I actually got paid based off of views. I didn't get paid off of ad revenue or anything like that. I had flat rate contracts with Machinima back in the day where I would get paid based off of views. So if I had a view dip, I'd be super concerned. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm going to take a pay cut now because YouTube's not counting views properly. Today, I could not give a crap. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, I could not give a crap. That's all I have to say. Anyway, so let's continue positively, shall we? All right. So what do we want to talk about today? I think today we should go back and recap everything that happened yesterday. Let's talk a little bit about the schedule for the rest of the week. Let's talk about the 10th anniversary of GTA 5. And then we can just do whatever you guys want. We'll do some shout-outs, you know, and we'll you know, do some Q&A or whatever, a more relaxed day. First of all, before we even get to that, today, perhaps, maybe the first day of actual autumn weather here in Washington State. And what I mean by that is, after having 2 straight days where it was in the mid-80s again, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is summer weather, today we are down to the low 70s. According to my weather app, it's actually stating the hottest it will be in the next week and a half is 73 degrees. If that's the case, that is autumn weather, which is excellent. It means that I can essentially take the air conditioners out of the windows. You hear that loud noise right now in the background, that blowing noise? That's because my fans are on max blast, not on air conditioning, but max blast fan to try to keep air circulation and make the room cool. If I can open the window and I can get fresh air every day, I can just use the very quiet fan in the background, and you guys won't hear that anymore. And in addition to that, at night, the night streams will be very cool. I'd actually be able to open up the blinds at night to get tons of fresh air in here. So like when I'm doing like late night Street Fighter streams and stuff, man, that'll be much more refreshing than what we've been doing all summer long. My wife and I have been waiting because here's the thing. What's been happening is it's been warm during the days, but then it gets cold at night. And when it's cold at night, you're like, man, it's cold. Don't you want, you got to bundle up. You're like, man, I wish we could turn on the heat. You can't turn on the heat with the air conditioners in. There's no point. The heat will go right out the window. You know what I mean? So we have to get these air conditioners uninstalled. We already bought incredibly good air filters for our furnace system to cleanse the air in the house for when we finally turn on the heat, but we can't use it yet. We're waiting for the temperatures to dip, and we've been waiting and waiting, and finally it looks like this week, and incidentally, it might be perfect. Autumn begins in the United States on September 22nd. Excuse me, September 21st. I was off by a day. So technically it is autumn or fall this week anyway, so it might be the exact timing to line up with the season, which would be great. So the good news is, if this is staying like this for the next day or two, I think I will be taking out the air conditioners, and then you won't hear this ambient blowing noise in the background anymore. Another big addition, I'll be able to hear games better, because all summer long, when I have these neck phones on, okay, and I got them around my neck like this, and there's an air conditioner blasting in the background, it's very hard for me to hear certain kind of noises in video games. For example, I can usually hear dialogue, and I can usually hear sound effects, but it's very hard for me to hear music. So there's been entire games I've played this summer that I really didn't hear the soundtrack that well. Now I'll actually be able to hear the soundtracks better for games. I might play Street Fighter 6 and be like, oh my god, I can actually hear the music so nice now that I never heard before. You know what I mean? I guess we'll see. But yes, hopefully, within the next day or two, I'll be able to get rid of these air conditioners for good for the season, and then they won't be coming back to like April, May of next year. So we'll see, hopefully, okay? Anyway, let's get to the subject at hand, yesterday's gameplay streams, and let's talk about everything that happened. By the way, this will be spoiler-free, because I'm well aware that many of you perhaps are playing through Mortal Kombat 1 yourselves, or you're going to be getting Mortal Kombat 1 this Tuesday, and you're going to want to play through the story mode, and the last thing you want is big spoilers. So, I will avoid spoilers in this discussion, don't worry. If you didn't play MK1 yet, you're going to watch me play it or watch someone else play it or whatever. You're not going to be spoiled by this segment, all right? So, after having finished it, I can now tell you, Mortal Kombat 1's story mode is about 6 to 6.5 hours long. Now, if you rush through it, it'll be a little shorter, but if you have difficulty with it, it'll be a little longer. It really depends on the difficulty level you select, because when I played it on hard, because people told me it was too easy, I couldn't even win the first fight. The computer was literally going non-stop, fighting and just rushing me down, and I couldn't even learn a special move. I was like, let me try this special move with Kung Lao. Oh, I can't, because my body's being pummeled into paste by the computer. What the hell kind of difficulty is this? So then I turned it from hard to medium difficulty. Now the computer just stands there like it's brain dead. Duh, well, please punch me. Like, what the hell happened? I have no idea why they have nothing in the middle to basically make do, because it should be something in the middle, and there isn't. It's weird, because they have easy and very hard. No one's ever going to use those. Let's put a million other difficulties that don't make sense. So anyway, the good news is, I think you play as 15 to 16 different characters. I think it's 15 characters, and then if I remember, at the end, for the finale, you get to pick who you want to play as at the end of the game. Like, you have a choice of the entire cast at that point, which is kind of neat. You can select your fighter for the finale fights, okay? It's a good story. Well, allow me to explain. Basically, if you've played Mortal Kombat 9, 10, or 11, you know the deal by now. It's a narrative-based campaign that has twists, turns, good high-level production values and voice acting. The mocap is really well done. It goes through all these different locations, both in Earthrealm and Outworld, and a variety of characters are used. Okay? Surprisingly enough, and this is not a story spoiler, I just want everyone to know, the special forces are not featured whatsoever in the campaign of this game. So any of those characters that you've liked over the years that are supposed to be like the human forces, they don't exist. They're in the game. You know what I mean? Like, those characters are in the game, but they're just not in the story for whatever reason. They're just not featured and not prominent. I guess when Liu Kang redesigned the world, because he's now the god of the entire realm, he decided that the special forces were not needed or something. I don't know. So anyway, here's the thing. It's 6.5 hours long, and I can tell you, the whole first 4 to 4.5 hours are pretty darn well done. There's reimaginings of different places that you've seen in previous Mortal Kombat games that blow you away. I was like, wow, the writing is good because they've redesigned entire areas to be completely different. You know, what would Outworld be like if it weren't a disgusting, gory wasteland of death? That's essentially what this game explores. And that's really cool to see that, because you never explored that ever in a Mortal Kombat game before. It's always been, oh, Outworld, that's the world where everyone's warlike, everyone's killing each other, all the factions are at each other's throats, everyone wants to die and have power, there's freaking bodies impaled on pikes and all kinds of messed up stuff, right? They changed it for this one, which is good. It's refreshing, okay? But all I'm going to say is this, and again, no spoilers here. After 4.5 hours, there is a plot element that is used that, I hate to say, I feel is incredibly played out in the modern day. Maybe if this were 10, 15 years ago, and maybe if this were Mortal Kombat 9 and they had used this plot element, I would have been way more excited. But the plot element they used is just something that's been used so much recently in pop culture that when they use it, you kind of cringe. You're like, wait a minute, what? Don't tell me they're doing this. Everyone else already did it. And then they did it. I was like, oh no. I feel like the writer copped out. Whoever was writing the story of Mortal Kombat 1 essentially copped out and couldn't think of a good resolution and said, well, let's just do what everyone else does. Because I hate to say it, by employing this plot device, essentially the writers made it so that absolutely nothing matters anymore. And again, this is hard to explain without spoiling, so I urge you, if you're going to play the game yourself or you're going to watch me play it, you'll understand what I mean when you get to this point. But once you get to this plot device, it's just like, what? Why did they do that? It's so annoying because I was really liking the story. And then it just hits you like, wait, what? And then let me tell you, the ending of the game, again, without spoilers, is one of the most over-the-top, jump-the-shark, ridiculously poorly written endings of any video game that I've ever played, and or definitely the worst ending of the last 4 Mortal Kombats. Because you remember the last 3 Mortal Kombats, they rebooted the plot and it was way more serious. This ending sucked ass. I was blown away at how bad it was, because they were treating the ending like it was serious. And like, this is not serious. This is terrible. Like, did you guys ever play Conduit 2 on the Wii? The answer is you probably did not. All right? In the game Conduit 2, at the end of the game, a portal opens up, and Abraham Lincoln, as well as other former presidents, step out of a portal through time with giant energy weapons to say that they are back to save the world. And that's the end of Conduit 2. The ending of Mortal Kombat 1 is pretty much on par with the ending of Conduit 2. That's all I'm going to say. Okay? And, yeah, I couldn't believe how bad it was. I was just appalled. And so was everyone watching live on stream. We were all like, that's seriously how they want to end it. They want to end it like this. This is the ending of the plot of Mortal Kombat 1. So all I'm going to say is, and I don't know how many of you know the games from the 2000s, because this is one thing that I actually said right before I started playing the game. I said, much like how Mortal Kombat 9, 10, and 11 seemed to be a trilogy of Mortal Kombat games that was an homage to the 1990s Mortal Kombats, right? They really focused heavily on the characters from Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, and then a little bit of 4, and then had new characters like the children, like Cassie Cage, and the son of Scorpion and stuff like that, right? So, much like that trilogy was the 90s, it seems like what they're trying to do is start a new line of Mortal Kombats that are now an homage to the 2000s Mortal Kombats. So we're talking Deadly Alliance, Deception, Armageddon, and I think there was another one in there too. But there is a problem with that. The problem is, the 2000s Mortal Kombats were widely accepted as fun console mess-around games, but were never accepted as mainstream competitive serious games. There weren't really tournaments for them, while games like Street Fighter and Tekken and other fighting game franchises were excelling in the tournament scene. Mortal Kombat faded into obscurity. It still sold well, but it was kind of the laughingstock of the fighting game community. Well, it exists, but hey, you want to mess around with your friends and rip off people's dicks and shove them up their nose holes, you play Mortal Kombat. Outside of that, if you want to play a real fighting game, you're going to play everything else. That's how it was seen. And with this plot, I hate to say, I think that's what they're going for. I think that they're more saying that they really don't feel like they care that much anymore about being serious. They tried that with 9, 10, and 11. They tried to be serious, balanced games. They tried, and Mortal Kombat 11, they added in all these elements that made it play more like Street Fighter. They had, you know, blocking that didn't require a block button. They had wake-up reversals that used, like, meters, so you could, like, invincible wake-up reversals and stuff. They completely removed all of that. It's all gone. So they've changed the way that Mortal Kombat is played, right? So, in that regard, I kind of feel like that's what's going on. They just don't care about really competing anymore. They feel like because they've been around for so long and they have an established fan base that will come back and play at whatever, no matter what. And the other thing is about Mortal Kombat. Usually, when a Mortal Kombat game comes out, especially this last decade, it'll be popular for like 6 months, sells a ton, and then you don't really hear much about it until the DLC characters come out. And you might be like, well, wait a minute, I don't get that. Because isn't there a competitive community? Well, there is. But for whatever reason, even the Mortal Kombats where they tried really hard to make them competitive, they don't catch on that well. They just don't have longevity or the legs of other fighting games. While a fighting game like Street Fighter V, which arguably I thought was terrible. I thought it was one of the worst ones ever made. Okay, I really did. I thought it was god-awful. It lasted 7 years. 7 effing years, right? While Mortal Kombat had like 3 games during that time period, each one only lasted about a year competitively, and then people never really talked about it or played it anymore. It was on to the next. You see, that's why they had Injustice games in between to fill in the gaps. So, that's I think what's going on right now, is they wanted to cater more to the people who were their big fans in the 2000s, get that player base maybe back. Maybe they may have lost them in the last decade. They want to get those people back, and that's really why they're not taking it so seriously, because that plot, oh my god, that plot cannot be taken seriously in any way. The ending is atrociously bad for anyone who is looking for something that was to be like, okay, this is cool, I'm interested, I'm invested, let's see where the plot goes next. I could not give 2 craps where the plot goes next at this point. Seriously. Anything can happen, and it's a complete mess around at this point. So, I hope that kind of explained my thoughts without spoiling. If you want to know exactly what I'm talking about, you can watch the end of my playthrough, which is live now on the channel, or you can play the game for yourself. Either way, you're going to find out exactly what I mean, and I'm curious what your feedback would be. If you happen to watch it, please leave comments and let me know what you think about what they did with the plot. I'm very curious to hear everyone's thoughts, okay? Now, later on, I had extra time, and we played about an hour of the invasion mode of Mortal Kombat 1. And I didn't know what to expect. I heard it was like a board game. That's actually what someone had told me. Invasion mode seems pretty interesting, and here's why. They've removed the crypt. There's no more crypt from like the last 3 Mortal Kombats. That's been removed. There's no more traditional like big challenge towers. I mean, they do have some towers in there, but I think it's more like the arcade towers or whatever. So what they've done is they combined all of that traditionally good single-player content into a mode called Invasion. What it is a series of maps. I think there's like 8 of them or something like that. And what it is, you go around this, it is like a board game, and you have challenge fights. Some of them are just straight-up fights, you against a computer-controlled opponent. Some have criteria like, oh, the opponent has super armor, and they're only weakened during a certain time frame. Or, oh, there's a variable, like there's monsters flying and dropping fireballs out of the sky. You got to dodge those. Sometimes it's not even a fight. It's a mini game. You got to jump around and dodge obstacles and stuff like that. There's actually RPG elements to it. So, for example, let's say you pick Reptile. Well, Reptile is a poison fighter. He's strong against certain characters and weak against others. Like an RPG, like elements in Pokemon, right? It actually has that to it. It's got items you can equip that give you status buffs. It's very interesting the way that they've designed this mode. And the thing is, you can actually select any character you want at any time. So let's say you wanted to start off with Johnny Cage, but after 5 fights you want to switch it up and try Liu Kang. You could do that and you can continue on. And the cool thing about the mode is you're always unlocking useful, interesting things. I played it for an hour. I unlocked like 5 colors for Johnny Cage, 2 or 3 colors for Baraka, at least 1 color for Reptile. I got some customizable stuff for Baraka. I actually got a entirely new outfit for the Cyrax cameo assist, and I unlocked the classic Scorpion cameo. And that was in 1 hour. I was like, wow. I mean, I'm just playing through this, having some fun, and I'm unlocking tons of content for the game. Lady says they copied Smash Brothers Ultimate World of Light. I mean, yeah, and not just that, but also, yeah, I would say that's actually a good comparison. To have a single player mode that had that kind of content. That's pretty much similar, although the challenge towers are in there. I actually did an optional hidden challenge tower that was 4 stages, and when I beat it, they give me a bunch of rewards. The game it's very confusing, because the game has like 3 different kinds of currency. One of them is ones that you use to do the random loot box summons to see, and sometimes you get junk, and sometimes you'll actually get something good. But there's 2 other kinds of currency. I don't even know what they do. I was getting green coins and like red coins. Like, what the hell are these? But I mean, I've only played it for an hour. Maybe it'll be more apparent the further in that I go. There's also optional objectives. So for example, on one stage, there was a word scramble. And I didn't know what it meant. And after I unscrambled it, it says destroy the world. What does that mean? You realize, oh yeah, one of the cameo fatalities is Cyrax's classic fatality from Mortal Kombat 3, where he opens up his chest and he shoots a bunch of bombs out and he blows up the planet. Well, they put that fatality into Mortal Kombat 1. So if you do that fatality on that stage, you get a bonus reward. And I did it. Opened up an area and I got a big bonus reward that I think it was like another color and other stuff for doing that. So it's kind of a neat mode. If you're someone who is looking for single player content in the fighting games, and you don't really care that much about online play, and you were wondering, gee, if I buy Mortal Kombat 1, what content will I get? Well, the story mode's about 6 to 6.5 hours, but it seems like this invasion mode is going to be your major source of focusing on the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, it definitely seems like this will be the meat of the game for you if you're not going online to play people in a competitive setting. So far, I like it. So we're going to play more of it over the next couple of days, because the thing is, you have to play to unlock all the characters. Right now, I only have one of like 5 or 6 optional cameos unlocked. And the thing is, some people were like, oh, well, you could just play online. That is true. Whenever you play Mortal Kombat outside of the story, you're leveling up your account, and your account level is what unlocks the cameos. However, supposedly, the invasion mode is the best way to unlock content, because you level up your account constantly playing this mode. Apparently, it takes tons of matches online to unlock the cameos. Well, if you play Invasion for like 3 hours, you get everything that you need for multiplayer. So it makes more sense for me to focus on Invasion than to jump on right online and not have the whole cast. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. I liked Invasion mode for the hour we played it last night. We beat the tutorial, which was Johnny Cage's mansion, and we ended up in the first major map, which is kind of like a town in Japan with big pagodas and things like that. And that's currently where I am. And I used Baraka for like the first half hour, and then I switched to like Reptile. I think today, when I play again, I'll probably pick another character. And that's the thing. I'll keep mixing it up. I'll try various different characters as I play through this mode as a way to kind of get a little bit of experience with each. It kind of makes sense, right? So there you go. Invasion mode. I'm liking it so far. I'm looking forward to more. Now, last night on the late stream, it was the conclusion of Chrono Trigger after a summer-long playthrough. Basically, I've been playing it for about 6 weeks. I was looking it up, and I started right at the beginning of August. So it was about, 6 weeks that I've been playing Chrono Trigger, and the playthrough clocked in at just over 26 hours when I was done. Much longer than my original playthrough. My original playthrough from 10 years ago, that one was only like maybe 15 to 18 hours. Reason being, number one, it was just me playing. I wasn't talking with anyone or explaining anything while I was playing. It was more me just playing and narrating over what I was doing, which is way more streamlined. Number two, the version that I played 10 years ago was the pure emulated SNES version. This time around, we were playing the Steam version, which had much added content. It was widescreen, it had better menus, it had added optional content such as the Lost Dimension, Lost Dungeon. I can't remember what it was called. We did it. It was 4 hours of extra gameplay, and that was the content that had been added when this game was ported to the Nintendo DS in the 2000s. So we did that too. Oh, Lost Sanctum. That's what it's called. Lost Sanctum. So we done all of that. So it was a much more complete playthrough this time around. Okay? Man, the ending was great. The music was outstanding. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I cried because this is a game from my childhood that still to this day, I love this game. Every time I play it, I have a blast. The music, the graphics, the story, the optional content, it's all resonates with me. This is one of the games that back in the day made me fall in love with games for the rest of my life. And so it was very emotional for me. It wasn't that I was sad. It wasn't that I was overly happy. It's just it resonated. When it started playing that final music and it was everyone's final goodbyes, everyone was going into the time portal to say goodbye at the end of the game, it actually made me tear up. I was crying. Everyone's like, what's he crying about? I'm like, it's just, I don't know. It's just certain things from your past that are meaningful to you make you feel that way. You know what I mean? So I really enjoyed the ending of it. And for those who were there live, thank you. For those who were there for the entirety of the playthrough, I really appreciate that, because this playthrough meant a lot more to me than playing these games 10 years ago. You know, when I played these games in 2013, the internet was a different place, and I was a different person, and my content was different too, okay? So, that being said, yeah, basically for me, when I'm doing a playthrough and I have an interactive audience and I can talk with you guys and I can share my emotions and thoughts live, that's way more meaningful to me than any of the content that I used to do that was the offline style. Because pre-2017, all right, basically everything that I did was basically felt like it was offline, me doing it for myself. Or, you know, if I had a co-op partner, that was a little different. But for the most part, it was just me narrating over everything. Even though I did live stream from 2013 to 2016, those streams were ignoring the audience, not interacting, no face cam, right? It was a very different style. It wasn't until 2017 that I changed everything up. And now it's been pretty much almost 7 years, because 2017, 18, 19, 21, 2021, 22, 23. Yeah, it's been 7 years that I've been an interactive live streamer, and things have been much better for me. Like, the content I put out today makes me feel better about what I'm doing on the internet. I feel like the stuff I do today is a legacy of good content, while a lot of the stuff that I used to do back in the day was very much for an immature YouTube audience, you know? Case in point, in 2013, when I did what was called the Summer of Retro, and I played games like Chrono Trigger, Earthbound, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and a couple of classic Super Marios, okay? My viewer base revolted against me. Yes, I got thumbs down all over the videos. I had people who were coming out and complaining. What a boring summer that Darkside Phil has done. How off base he is with his viewer base to be playing classic games. No one wants to see these old pixelated relic games. They mean nothing. We want him playing Grand Theft Auto. We want him playing gory, you know, shooters or current fighting games. Essentially, that's the feedback I got. And I was like, wow, you know, like what a ridiculously off-base reaction. They actually were pissed at me for playing classic games. And I remember I got into arguments with my audience in video comments and on social media. Yes, 10 years ago when I was using Twitter, I was, you know, why are you reacting like this? These are the classics. These are the games that laid the foundation for what we have today. And sure, you may feel that they're outdated, but that doesn't mean you don't respect them. This would be the equivalent of saying we would never watch an old movie ever again because modern movies are better. It's like, what are you talking about? Art resonates no matter how long time has passed. Technology doesn't. For example, if you watch an old game and it's pixelated, okay, the graphics don't look good. Or you watch an old movie, oh, the CGI from the 90s looks like shit. Admittedly, you're right. But that doesn't mean that the work of art is completely destroyed or wasted and has no meaning. And those were the kind of reactions I got 10 years ago. This time around, it was completely the opposite. When I played the games this time, it was people who were on those streams and watching on demand, because I know there's still people watching the playthrough on demand, okay? They were incredibly appreciative of the fact that I was sharing this game and all of my knowledge and passion for it through this playthrough, and that it was interactive with my audience, and I was answering questions, and I was giving details of little tips and things that you can do during the boss fights, because Chrono Trigger is not an easy game. If you don't understand how to do certain things in certain boss fights, that game will kick your ass, all right? And I was trying to help people who were maybe doing it, playing it for the first time, to understand how to do certain things. I also like that we took the time to unlock all the stuff in the game, including all the crossover attacks and all of that. Not to say that I used them all, because there really are a lot of crossover attacks that are just kind of unnecessary, but it was nice to see every triple attack and everything by the end of the game. You know what I mean? Again, very different feeling in the modern day versus 10 years ago when I had backlash for playing classics. All right? So I want to say thank you so very much to those who attended the streams, to those who watched and are still watching that playthrough on demand, because I know for a fact there are people still in the midst of the playthrough. It's a lengthy one. All right? And, of course, particularly a shout out to those who supported that playthrough, whether it was simply engaging with the streams and the videos, maybe a super thanks, or super chat, super sticker, memberships, gifted memberships, and tips. All that stuff made that playthrough possible. You understand? Because a lot of people are, it's just a classic, I'll skip it, it's boring, slow, I'll come back when there's a new game. But the fact that people showed up and supported those playthroughs, those retro playthroughs that I do, means that I can play them. You understand? I'm happy that in today's audience, I have the ability to be flexible and I can balance games. I can play a new game with an old game and it all balances out and it works. Back then, I couldn't do that. That summer, my views plummeted because I played retro games and I lost tons of money. Seriously, it was one of the slowest summers I'd ever had at that point being a YouTuber, just because I chose to play some classics. And it's like, wow, I'm beholden to my audience. I have to kind of almost obey the demands of this almost, I hate to say it, a lot of entitled people back then. It was like, oh, we are, our views determine what you do. So if we don't want classics, we're just refuse to watch anything you do for 3 months and we'll come back when the new games come out in the fall. I was like, wow, that's kind of messed up. Because the way I saw it back then was I thought that I was having a chill gameplay time with my audience. It wasn't. It really wasn't the case, But then things change over time. And today I do feel like things are very different today. In the way that the content that I put out and the way that people react to my content. And that's a good thing. I have way more fun today. I feel like we have way more personal, social interactions on the streams. It's more meaningful to play Chrono Trigger in 2023 than it was in 2013 because of the kind of YouTube audience that I now have. It's much smaller, that's for sure. Back then, we're talking every video I pumped out got thousands of views. Seriously, even a playthrough that was slow got thousands of views per video. Today, I push 300 views a video, right? So, it is what it is, but hey, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Comment frenzy, stop right now. I'm just going to say that. Don't repeat what you're saying. You're saying toxic stuff in the chat. Nobody gives a crap. Just stop repeating it. Nobody gives 2 craps. Thanks. Okay. Sorry I had to do that. I was trying to ignore the guy, but he's now pasted this like 3 times in the chat. I'm trying to ignore this guy. Okay. So that is it for Chrono Trigger. Now here's the thing. I left it open-ended because we did not do the optional endings and we did not explore the post-game content that unlocked, because apparently once you beat the game in this version, there's post-game, like after you beat the game, there's new stuff that opens. I don't even know what that is because I've never done that before. So if you guys ever wanted to see me go back to Chrono Trigger when things calm down from this busy gaming season, because it's a very busy gaming season right now, we got to focus on all the new games we're playing. But maybe come slower times, if you guys wanted me to go back and see what this optional content is that opened, or maybe you would like me to go through New Game Plus and see the optional endings, we could maybe do that. And I'd be willing to do that if you guys want to see it. Let me know. In the meantime, I will let this stay on my mini PC, and we'll keep it there as an option in the future. All right? So you guys want to say, well, what's next for the mini PC? Because that was a cool month and a half. You had this mini PC over the summer, donated by a viewer. It seems to be working out well. What's your next plan for the mini PC? Right now, I really don't have one. I could tell you one thing I absolutely want to do with the mini PC is I want to set it up with Fightcade, and I want to play classic fighting games. I want to play games such as X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, maybe Capcom vs. SNK 2, and definitely Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Like, those games I'm all over. I want to play so badly on there, all right? But we need time because right now it's busy. We're going to have this busy gaming season. People are going to want to see more of the more recent fighting games like Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat. It's not going to be about retro stuff. What will happen is eventually things will slow down. People want to see more retro stuff. I'd be down for that. I totally would be. if that's something that you would want to see in the future. All right. I'd be down for that. All right. So let's see how things go. Someone just said in the chat, what about Team Fortress 2? I love Team Fortress 2. I haven't played it in ages. I used to play the hell out of it. I love the game. I don't know how viable that would be. You do a one-off stream of it or something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this mini PC would play Team Fortress 2 at like mid settings. So maybe we would do that at one point in the future. Okay, something like that. But yeah, let's see. For now, I would say the mini PC is likely going to get a rest. I don't really see us using it for anything in the next couple of months with all the games out now in October and November, maybe near the end of the year. Or I will say this too. One thing that's really cool about it. Every year when I do my Halloween marathon and my Christmas marathon, people are like, will you play games on PC? And every year I'm like, you know, my PC can't really handle it. Now I have a PC that likely could handle like up to mid-range games. So if you guys know of indie horror games or Christmas-themed games or things you just wanted to mess around with during those marathons, I can do it now. I can just turn that sucker on and we can do it over there. I have more freedom, which is excellent. Freedom is much better than being limited in what you can do. And I'm not just exclusively limited to consoles anymore. So that's a really cool thing, right? So, there you have it. I hope that sounds good. Thanks for watching Chrono Trigger. I can't wait to use the mini PC for more stuff in the future. Right now, probably not going to do anything in the short term, but I'm definitely planning on doing things in the more long term. Okay? Excellent. All right. So that was yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get to our discussions about the future, I just want to say thank you so very much for all of your support. Remember, I am an independent content creator. I don't have any sponsorships. I don't have any partnerships. I don't have any paid product placements or paid promotions. I have very limited ads that I run in my content here on purpose. Why? Because I want to give you honest content. And I feel that too many content creators in the modern day have become more about, oh, we have to pay the bills and make ends meet. And everything is a paid promotion, sponsored by this. Listen to this shilling. I'm not about that. I never have been. In 15 years, I've never shilled for you, and I don't want that to change. The reason that I've been able to continue to be successful is because of your crowdfunding support these 15 years I've been a YouTuber. If it wasn't for you, I would have to do what everyone else does, and the content would definitely change. For the worse, in my opinion. So I want to say to you, thank you sincerely to those who support my content. I know that my viewership is much less than it used to be. I make curated content for this specific audience, and they appreciate it enough that they support me in my efforts to continue. Let's talk about how you can do that. If you like the content here, number one, please engage with it. Whether that would be liking the stream or liking the video you're watching. If you think it's a good video, please like it. Those likes add up and help this channel to get prominence in the YouTube search algorithm. In addition, interacting with me on a live stream or leaving comments on an on-demand YouTube video also help for the engagement algorithm. Even something as simple as saying, hey, just wanted to say hi, have a good day, or hey, watch the video, having a good time, thanks, Phil. Something like that helps a ton. It really does. And so many people don't do it. They just take it for granted. They don't realize how much help that actually is. You know what I'm saying? So please consider doing that if you like the content. Now, if you want to go above and beyond, here's other ways you can support. A super chat or a super sticker during a live stream or a super thanks on an on-demand video that's eligible. Those are ways you can contribute via YouTube system. And in a chat, you'll get highlighted messages. On a video, you get a highlighted comment. I will actually go out of my way to shout out those contributions on the stream. Or on an on-demand video, I actually highlight, I favorite, I like, and I actually respond to your comment, okay? A membership is a great way to help out because it's an ongoing subscription every month that gets you tons and tons of features. For example, unlocking dozens upon dozens of emotes here in the chat. Getting a cool chat crown badge to show how long you've been a supporter. How about being able to talk as much as you want in the chat without any limitation while everyone else has a slow mode on? You don't. And of course, when we do special events, for example, the upcoming Halloween event, you will be able to nominate and vote on parts of that event with priority. The members themselves will be selecting a game or two that I'll be playing during the upcoming Halloween event. There you go. Now, if you want to support this channel in a way that helps out the community, all right? Well, how can you do that? Give some memberships. Memberships are giftable to the community. And every day we have hundreds of people here who would definitely appreciate a gifted membership. All right? So thanks in advance to anyone who becomes a member or maybe thinks to gift some memberships to the community. That's a tremendous help. Okay? Lastly, there's tipping. Tipping is a way in which you can contribute directly to my PayPal account. And tipping really helps for a couple of reasons. Number one, I get tips immediately. So if you tip me today, that's something I can use to pay a bill, to buy a game, to buy some groceries for my family, whatever it may be. Those tips go right away to something important. Number two, I get a bigger cut of tips than I do of other contribution methods because there's no middleman. It just goes directly to me. Yes, PayPal takes a small cut, but for the most part, I get most of it. Everything else, there's some processing time involved. There is some middleman. And listen, I'm not here to tell you, hey, contribute this way, that way, or the other way. You contribute however you want if you so wish. Thank you in advance. I'm grateful to anyone who contributes in any way, okay? But tipping is a great way to do it because it helps so much. I actually have these reward tiers, like a $50, $100, and $150 reward tier in place if we hit tips goals, okay? So please consider contributing to the stream in some way today if you like the content. My goals for this week, goal number one, 650 members by the end of the week and stay at it. And what I mean by that is sometimes we hit the goal, but then we lose a bunch of members over the week. I want to hit 650 and hold by the end of the week. Number two, I want to hit 1 tips goal a day. I have 2 streams a day, 2 times to hit a tips goal. If I can hit 1 tips goal a day, that would make me feel good. All right, that would help a lot. So let's see what happens this week. Hopefully we can hit those goals by the end of the week. So far, we have hit at least 1 tips goal a day the last 2 days. Sadly, the other streams we didn't hit had like nothing. Both night streams this week had like $5 to $10 of tips each. So it didn't really, work out in that regard. But I am hoping that overall this week things will even out. I guess we'll see. So let's see what happens today. Hopefully we can hit some of these goals. Okay? All right. Schedule. Today it is DSP versus the Internet, my weekly React show. So as soon as this podcast is done, you're going to see a big pop-up on your screen that's going to say, hey, everyone, click on this and head over to DSP Reacts for our weekly React show. Head over there and follow me, and we're going to watch clips from all over the Internet from my channel members over there for about 3 hours. It's always a good variety show. You never know what you're going to see because a lot of those clips are put into a randomized playlist, and it's all about RNG, what YouTube selects. It's a great show, though. I really enjoy it every week. It's a good variety to break stuff up, and I hope you'll join me for that over there. And that is the primary way I make money on that channel is the streams. Because on that channel, almost everything gets demonetized. Seriously, like all the videos, because I'm watching other people's content, they all get claimed and demonetized. So, basically, supporting those streams via, memberships, gifted memberships, super chats, and tips, that's what makes that channel viable. So please support the content over there if you enjoy the React stuff, okay? Tonight on the late stream, we return to DSPGaming for Invasion Mode in Mortal Kombat 1. It's the first dedicated stream I'm doing of the mode. I am planning on switching between several different characters as we play the mode. I'll probably start off with a nuke. Maybe I'll do Kenshi. Maybe I'll don't know. I'll pick a different character, mess around with them a little bit. And I think that's a good way to have variety. Maybe every half an hour to hour, switch out characters to try different things. And try to unlock as much content as I can. Because right now there's a ton of content available to unlock in that mode. And I'm looking forward to that tonight. I hope you'll join me for that on the late stream. Again, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time here on DSP Gaming. Okay? Tomorrow, we return to Starfield for the first time in ages. We're going to have a daytime Starfield stream. Last time around, we had gone through the vast majority of the Freestar Collective campaign, correct? We got to the very end, but we didn't get to see the ending. So we're going to get to see the ending of the Freestar Collective campaign and see what the resolution is, and then decide what do we want to do next. Do I want to do another faction? Do I want to maybe continue on with the main story? Do I want to get distracted with some side content? I guess it'll all depend. We'll have to see. But I'm excited for more Starfield tomorrow. I've enjoyed the playthrough so far, and I hope you guys will join me for more during the day stream. Tomorrow night, more Mortal Kombat 1 Invasion. My hope is that by the end of Monday night's stream, we will have unlocked the stuff that we need to do all the multiplayer. Because there's 5 or 6 cameos. I keep forgetting if it was 5 or 6. And so far in an hour, we unlocked 1. So if we unlock like a rate of 1 per hour, that would probably mean that we'll have them all unlocked by the end of Monday night. In which case, then, if I go online, we'll have all the content unlocked. Okay? So, let's see what happens, but let's have a good time with that Monday night and hopefully get everything unlocked. Tuesday is a brand new game release, Lies of P. and I'll be trying it out all day long. It's a Game Pass game. Yes, it's supposed to play like Bloodborne, but it has a unique plot. We're going to see what it's like. I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. I'm not committing to a full playthrough, but I want to give it the day to give it a shot, let it sink in, see if it's something that I like and enjoy, and if we're going to do a full playthrough of it or not, okay? So, hopefully you'll join me all day Tuesday for Lies of P. Wednesday is my final consecutive streaming day this week before my break on Thursday. Wednesday's daytime stream, I'm leaving wide open. And here's what I mean by that. It could be Starfield. It could be Lies of P. It could be Mortal Kombat 1. It could be whatever you guys want, all right? I'll leave it open. We'll talk about it over the course of this week. And hopefully by the end of Tuesday, we'll have determined what we want that daytime stream to be on Wednesday. Wednesday night will be Street Fighter 6 ranked gameplay with Lily. Last time around when we played randomly on my day off on Thursday, I actually got Lily all the way up to 4-star diamond. And we are continuing the climb, as hard of a climb as it is, because man, it is hard to win against top tiers with her because she just does not have the priority nor the tools to really get out of basic stuff. But I'm doing it. I'm climbing. I'm winning. I feel like if we keep on with this, we are going to get her to master. And that's my goal. So we continue on with Lily on Wednesday night. Fun Street Fighter 6 stream, the only one of the week. I hope you'll join me for that. I'm off on Thursday. Next week will be a balance between Mortal Kombat 1, Lies of P, Street Fighter 6, and Starfield. And that's my focus for the week. Those 4 games, alternating between them all week long. Now keep in mind, at the end of the month, September 27th, so what would that be? That would be Wednesday of next week? Why is it on a Wednesday? That is kind of weird. But I think it is, correct? It's a Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday of next week. Is the next major DLC release for Street Fighter 6, Aki. This is the Chinese fighter who uses claws and venom, like poison, okay? She looks incredibly unique. I don't think there's been a fighter like her in Street Fighter before. I have no idea how the heck she's going to play or if she's going to be any good, but I want to try her out, just like we did with Rashid last month. I want to give her the day, basically. You know, go in, you try her out in training mode, you try some of her trials and combos, then you go online, you give her a shot and see what I can do. Even if I suck with her, at least we try her and we kind of understand her basics and what she's capable of, right? So, yeah, that day will be a focus pretty much solely on her in Street Fighter 6. So, that's going to be the week. Next week will be a good balance of stuff. I think next week what's going to be, we're going to determine if I want to play Mortal Kombat 1 at length, and if that would be online play, invasion mode, a combo of both, or only one. Because, quite frankly, I was not impressed with the online play at all in the beta. It was very laggy. And the gameplay elements just don't seem too sound to me competitively. For a mess-around game, it seems fun. When you're trying to play this game seriously, and every character has an insane 50% juggle or more, when the cameos are dominant, it's like, what is this game? It doesn't feel like it's meant to be a competitive fighter. Much like I said, it seems like they're catering more to the 2000s crowd of Mortal Kombat when it wasn't a competitive fighter. It was more about the flashiness and the gore. It seems like that's what they're going for here. That doesn't make it a good game, though. So I guess we'll see when I get to the online play later this week. But, you know, it might be the make or break determination week of what I want to exactly do at MK1 moving forward or not. All right? So, all right. So, guys, that's the schedule for the week. That's what I got. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a very interesting part of the show. Because it's the kind of part of the show that I say it is your favorite segment. It also just happens to be my favorite segment. Ladies and gentlemen, it's everyone's favorite segment. Today, it is time for us to celebrate DSP news together. And today is a momentous occasion. Because today is the actual official 10-year anniversary of Grand Theft Auto 5. It was 10 years ago today that the game was released on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. And then in just a couple months, it was dumped onto the PS4. Right? Yeah, it was a wild time back then. You still had to go to stores in order to get physical copies of games for midnight release. There was no digital release. I remember having pre-ordered GTA 5 and sitting in line for it and hearing people talk about the botched launch of the Xbox One and how people still had misconceptions that you couldn't actually like trade in games or anything because Don Matrick had botched it so bad and people didn't even understand that a lot of the things Don Matrick had intended for the Xbox One had been scaled back. But that's it. First impressions are everything, right? So people still thought that. And I just remember, you know, that being one of the last times almost where there was so much hype over like a big release that everyone was excited, everyone was pre-ordering, everyone was lining up to get the game, you know, that night. You know, since then, I was right shortly after that, I would argue like a year or two after that, that everything went digital. And so the whole idea of midnight releases started to dwindle huge. GTA 5 really was kind of the last ginormous game like that. And I remember playing it with you guys and having a blast with it, because here's the thing. I just played the Grand Theft Auto trilogy the year before. I had never even played them. Yeah, and I played GTA 3 and Vice City and San Andreas the year before. And they were epic playthroughs everyone loved. So when I played GTA 5, people were so excited to see me play the new one. Admittedly, I don't think the new one lived up to the hype. I remember at the time, I thought that it was a fine game, and I enjoyed it. I thought that with the graphics and the unique interactive world they had created for the game, that I thought it was great. A lot of people were underwhelmed and thought that it should have been much better. I liked the fact that you could swap between the three protagonists, and it always felt like they all had their own lives going on because they were always in the middle of doing something else when you swapped between them. A lot of people thought that the whole idea was just kind of a cop-out and that the characters weren't strong enough. It was definitely a mixed bag reaction, that's for sure. I think I liked it more than most people. I remember by the time that I had finished it, the hype for it was already dead. Like, I remember the first few streams I did of it, people were insanely excited. I mean, those are back when I used to have thousands of viewers. Seriously, I remember I probably had 2,000 viewers for the premiere of GTA 5 back in the day. That's how popular I was, you know? And people were all over it. But then, you know, the hype for the game died out over a couple of weeks as I was playing it. People didn't really care about it as much anymore. But it was a unique time, you know? And the thing is, if I hadn't just played GTA 5 as an anniversary run over the summer, I'd probably have a lot more to say. But I literally just replayed the game. I gave you my full thoughts on the game after 10 years. So if you want to hear that, head over to my GTA 5 anniversary run playthrough. And you're going to get a lot more information about my thoughts, because I already have literally just done that. All right. Now that I've played it again 10 years later, I still think it's a great game. Certainly it does have some shortcomings, but at the same time, I do think it has a unique charm to it, and I kind of get why some people still like it as much. What's funny is, I think a lot of people didn't like it as much at launch. Then they got GTA Online, they got hooked on GTA Online, and then later they played the campaign and fell in love with the campaign after the fact, which is also a fine thing to do. But it was funny because when it came out, remember, there was no GTA Online. GTA 5 came out first, and everyone played the campaign first, and then GTA Online came out like a month or two later. So, I hope you enjoyed that. That was a great summertime playthrough. Arguably, it was the most viewed playthrough I've done in months. Seriously, if you look at all the playthroughs I've been doing, it was definitely GTA 5 that has gotten the most attention overall of any of the other games that I've played recently, quite frankly. And I do appreciate that. So thanks to all those who were there and watched it. If you want to watch it now, it's still great. It was a great interactive fun. I'm glad that I did it. But I don't really have much to say. Whoops. I don't have much to say about GTA 5 because I already did say it during that playthrough. Okay? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for shout-outs. And we have plenty of time today for shout-outs. So let's jump right into it, shall we? Our first contribution of the day is from Mr. Game Master, who did a $2 super chat. He says, Mortal Kombat gets Switch port, but no last gen. Yeah, I know Mortal Kombat, if you can believe it, Mortal Kombat 1 is on the Nintendo Switch right now, and apparently it's atrociously bad. It runs horribly. The graphics look absolutely insanely bad. All the character models are way worse. The mocap's worse. People are finding insane bugs. Someone was playing it, and it was Shang Tsung versus Sindel. And so Shang Tsung walks forward to fight Sindel. He starts to walk back. All of a sudden, the character walks into the background of the stage. And he just shrinks and disappears. People are like, what the fuck? So then he said, well, let me walk right. So he started walking forward. And he walks past Sindel into the foreground, past her, and off the camera. And people are like, what the fuck? Have you ever seen anything like that before? I've never seen nothing like that before in a fighting game ever. That is a crazy bug that you can walk into and back of the foreground off the game. You know? But basically, yeah, it looks terrible. Are you surprised? No. I mean, why would you even port this thing to the Switch? It's a super underpowered console. And the thing that's really getting people, they're charging $80. It's $79.99. No, $69.99. It's full price on the Switch. Whatever the full price is, it's full price on Switch. It's not like, oh, they discounted it because you're playing on the Nintendo console. Oh, no. It's full price. So you're getting ripped off because everyone else is getting a far superior game, and you're getting a piece of shit because you're playing on a Nintendo console. I think it's pretty sad, you know? But it is what it is. That's the modern state of gaming. If you're going to have a Switch, you got to understand you're going to get the worst version of the game. And Nintendo is not doing anything to really help that. We got to hope with Switch 2, which of course ain't going to be called Switch 2. It'll probably be called like the Nintendo Gumdrop or something stupid like that. It'll be two little gumdrops that you push, and you play the game like that, and maybe you lick it for flavor. Oh, this one's orange. Okay, jump. And then this one, you blow on it. Oh, I threw a fireball, right? Like, knowing Nintendo, that'll be the next one. The stupidest thing ever. But anyway, you know that it'll probably have some unique thing no one cares about, and then it'll run like shit. But it is what it is. I hope that you guys are enjoying Mortal Kombat on the Switch. I certainly would not have bought that. I'd be like, hell no, I'm staying away from that. All right. Let us do some tip shout-outs today. We start off today with a $20 overnight tip. This one came in overnight from Harry Butthole. Thank you very much for a $20 tip, Harry Butthole. Let's get that on the leaderboard. There you go. All right. So Harry Butthole, whoops, says the following. I'm on part 8 of your Chrono Trigger playthrough. I am loving it so far. I really enjoyed your original 2013 playthrough as well. Chrono Trigger is still some of the most beautiful art in a video game ever. I completely agree. That's Akira Toriyama, the original creator of the Dragon Ball franchise, the guy who also did the art for Dragon Quest, as well as Blue Dragon. You know, he's done so many amazing things over the years, and this is one of his best works, in my opinion. I think Chrono Trigger looks absolutely amazing. I'm really glad you're enjoying it. If you're only on part 8, you got like 20 more hours to go. So you're really going to enjoy it. It gets much better in the later parts, and I'm sure if you already watched my playthrough, you know the plot. But what a meaningful playthrough for me, again, to enjoy that as an interactive experience for the first time. I've never been able to interact with an audience when I played it. When I played it 10 years ago, it was just for me. This time it was for everyone, and I really enjoyed that. Thank you very much, Harry Butthole, for enjoying Chrono Trigger and supporting it. Thank you so much. Okay, continuing on. I received a $3.16 tip from Lady Charisma. Alrighty, thank you very much, Lady Charisma. Let's see what Lady Charisma has to say. I decided, she said, woo, React Day once again. I decided to try something new this week. I hope it doesn't get claimed. I've been trying to mix it up with my submissions, doing my part to not let things get stale. Thank you for that. Yes, not doing the same thing every week is definitely appreciated. At this point, I don't think we even really know what's going to get claimed. We'll give it all a shot. If it gets claimed, we have to skip it. It is what it is. Hopefully it doesn't get claimed, though. Because if it gets claimed... Here's the thing. I don't mind if my videos get claimed on DSP Reacts. It's kind of destined to happen. Almost every video over there gets claimed, and I make no ad revenue on any of them. All right? But the problem is if the stream gets claimed, it gets shut down. It'll literally say, we have detected you streaming copywritten content. Stop right now or your stream will get shut down. So if we're watching a clip, I immediately have to stop and go to the next clip. And it sucks if we're in the middle of something that's good. And then we have to just, oh, well, can't ever watch it ever again because YouTube treats it this way. It's really stupid. But anyway, I am looking forward to the show today. And thank you, Lady Charisma, for that. Hello, Juan. How are you today? Hello. Okay, I received a $3.50 tip from Spawn Killer. Thank you so very much. He says, I remember your original Summer of Retro. You did get really upset fans didn't like that you were playing Earthbound. I actually, for a time, got turned away from your videos, and I stopped watching you for the while. I'm glad you have changed for the better. Here's the thing. Again, you have to understand where I was coming from, okay? At that point, I've been making videos since 2008. And admittedly, if you look at the games that I was playing, it was mostly all new releases. I was known as the guy who would go out and buy every new release, play it at launch, rush through it. I wasn't taking my time with these games. I was rushing through them to get them out there on the internet and be one of the first guys to do a full playthrough of a new release. Didn't matter if it was good or bad. As long as I was one of the first to do it, that's what my bread and butter was. That's what I was known as. So then, over the years, when I started doing this full time, starting in 2011, I realized there was going to be downtime. There was going to be holes and gaps in my schedule where there wasn't going to be constant new releases. Notably, back then, the summertime had almost no new games coming out. So therefore, I had to find things to fill in the gaps. In 2012, I did the Summer of GTA. And that was per the fans requesting it. It was Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas. Pretty much all back-to-back that summer. And it was me playing on original PlayStation 2 plugged into my HD TV. This created insane amounts of input lag. There was no HDMI conversion. It was just incredibly laggy. So imagine playing those games for the first time. They're already very difficult games. They always were known to have difficult missions and problems in them. Now imagine playing them in pixelated, fuzzy graphics on an HD TV, and the game is insanely delayed everything you're trying to do. It was really hard to get through those games. And by the way, back then, I wasn't using strategy guides. I wasn't having people hold my hand. It was just me learning to do it on my own. I wasn't even a streamer back then. So it was just me playing them offline. I didn't have anyone to help me. So that summer was a summer of pain and suffering, but was one of my most successful summers I ever had. I'm not kidding you. I made insane amounts of money that summer. I made more money that summer than I did that fall. Think about that. Then in the fall with all the new gaming releases, I made more money during the summer playing classic GTA than I did during the fall. That was pretty wild. The views were sky high. I mean, every video I put out of those playthroughs was getting tens of thousands of views, and the videos were 10 minutes long. I want you to think about that. In a given day, I would play GTA. Let's say I was playing San Andreas. I would play it for 7 hours that day. Each hour was 6 videos. Do the math. I was putting out 30 to 40 videos a day, and each video was getting 10,000 views. So in one day, I was getting about 500,000 views. And that persisted all summer. So, that was a crazy summer. The next summer comes along, and what I'm hoping is that I have gotten enough good faith in my audience now on YouTube that I can play whatever I want and people will actually watch it and appreciate it. Okay? So I decided that I wanted to do a summer of retro. Why? Because much like the summer before where those GTA games meant a lot to my audience, the games that I wanted to play during the summer of retro meant a lot to me. These were all games from my childhood that I enjoyed so much, including Link to the Past, Super Mario World, Super Mario 3, Chrono Trigger, and Earthbound, to name a few, because I think there might have been a few more, but I can't really remember. And I absolutely felt that my audience was going to be like, wow, this is cool because we see a different side of Phil. Instead of him raging and instead of him rushing through these games, he knows what he's doing because he has passion, and we're going to see his enjoyment, and we're going to like these. Literally the opposite happened. Imagine you're going into something with a positive expectation that your audience will appreciate what you do, and instead you get nothing but criticism and negativity tossed your way. I saw record low views, tons of thumbs down on the videos. That's also what gets me. They thumbed down the videos. I want you to think about that. Just because I wasn't playing a new hot game or a GTA or a gory game or a fighting game, because I chose classics, people were coming in droves and thumbing down the videos for playing classics. That killed me because that hurts my channel's algorithm. You know what I mean? That actually hurts the momentum of my channel. That really hurt. And it did hurt my feelings, admittedly. I remember. I was very upset because here I am thinking that people are going to appreciate the fact that I'm doing something outside the box that I wouldn't do, and I want to share my passion for games with my audience. And quite frankly, my mainstream audience didn't appreciate it. I'm absolutely sure there were people who did, of my core audience, but the people who were the mainstream YouTube viewers just didn't get it. And they started leaving really negative comments on the video. Oh, what you're a dinosaur. You're so off base. You have no idea what modern viewers and gamers like and want. Why would you do this? It's the worst summer you ever chose. I mean, you got to understand, even people like the Arid Lord, who was one of my biggest fans, was coming out and saying, oh, I don't really like this. This is boring. I was like, you're kidding me, you know? So it really hurt. And I remember getting very upset and kind of arguing with the audience. Now, see, that's the difference. Today, if we have a disagreement, we'll talk it out. I want to understand your perspective. And we come to an arrangement of understanding. Even if we agree to disagree, that's today. 10 years ago, I was a different dude. 10 years ago, it was like, how dare you not agree with me that these games are great classics? How dare you not like these playthroughs and thumb down my videos? I got actually like legit upset and heated over this with my audience. You know what I'm saying? And exactly. Canadian Kirk says, my way or the highway. Exactly right. That was my mentality back then. Listen, if you don't like my content, you don't have to watch it. Get the fuck out of here. Instead of saying, hey, okay, let's talk a little bit about why you're not liking what I'm doing. Maybe we can adjust on the fly. Maybe we can do, you know, I didn't do any of that back then. I literally did not take feedback. It was, I'm going to do what I want, and you deal with it. And so, yeah, that's really why I feel that summer failed as bad as it was. And I think that's why a lot of people got upset, because they started looking at me as a guy who's like, listen, this guy just doesn't listen to feedback. He's not growing. He's just staying like this big kind of like pig-headed dude. And we don't want to be a part of that. We'd rather have someone who wants to talk and hang out and interact, and you know what I mean? And I get that. It's different today, for sure, than it was back then. Today, I'm very open to listening to your constructive suggestions. And listen, there's still assholes out there who come and they insult and all that. But I'm talking about people who come here with constructive criticism, suggestions for improvement. I listen to that now. And I understand that I am not some infallible dude. In fact, I'm a very fallible guy, right? I am. I'm very flawed, and I do my best to improve myself based on feedback. I try to make more meaningful content for you guys now, and I hope that you like that. That's what I said. Playing Chrono Trigger 10 years ago versus today was completely different. I feel like they're two completely different playthroughs, right? Same game, but what a different mentality, what a different style, what a different person I am now, and I'm happy for that. I really am. So, thank you for understanding. Someone like Spawn Killer here, who years ago got very upset with me because I got upset with him, right? I understand a lot. That was the turning point. You got to remember, it was around late 2011, 2012, and then 2013 were the years where This Is How You Don't Play started becoming very prominent and exploding on the internet. So that was when the big anti-DSP movement began on YouTube, and it became more fun to make fun of me than to even enjoy content along with me. So that summer of retro was the tipping and breaking point for a lot of people. It really was. And that sucks, because I feel like today I'm a better person, but how many people just don't care or don't listen? They won't actually come and check out my content. They'll just believe all the memes, all the tropes, all the bullshit about me, and never come back and give it a shot. And then people who do come back and give it a shot a lot of the time say, whoa, this is totally different. He's not even the same guy. It's a totally different style. It's totally different content now. This is actually relaxed and fun, which is what we wanted back then, right? We didn't get it. Now we get it because he listens, but, you know, it's too late. His reputation is completely destroyed, and no one really gives a shit. Everyone would just rather laugh at him than give him a chance. You're right. But I'm still happy to be able to still be here and do what I do for a living. I'll never be some big shot. I'll never be virally popular. I'll never have a tenth of the views today that I had back then. Seriously, back then, there were months at the height of my YouTube popularity, I was bringing in over 10 million views a month on DSPGaming. Today, I don't get 1 million. Yeah, but you know what? I'm happy with what I have. I'm grateful for what I have, and I'm grateful that you guys still allow me to be who I want to be and to make the content I want to make through your support. Thank you so much for that. To Spawn Killer, I want to personally say I apologize to you if you took offense at anything I did 10 years ago, because I know back then I was a different guy. I was very defensive. Again, my shit didn't stink, right? That's how I acted. And a lot of my attitudes back then were very unwarranted and basically not worth your time. And I hope that I've earned back your viewership with my change in attitude over the years. Thank you for that. Okay. All right, guys. We got a little bit of extra time. If anyone has any questions or anything they'd like to toss my way, I'd be very open to that. What do you guys think? Anyone have anything you want to tag me with in the chat or any questions or anything for me? Excuse me. Yuck. Jade, thank you. Please save those fatalities for when we're playing, and we'll see. I'll probably end up trying General Shao at some point. Comment Frenzy, it's all good. You don't have to apologize. Turtle Dude, what's going on? Good to see you today. Yes, Kat is loving Starfield and continues to play it. Thing is, she knows the game's not perfect. There are things in the game she's annoyed at. All right? Just like me. But she's liking the game overall because she really enjoys the open world Bethesda game. She likes Elder Scrolls. She likes Fallout. So she's really enjoying Starfield. No, I'm not going to teach Elon Musk how to find romantic love. He'd actually have to be human to find it. That's the problem. He's a reptilian, right? Derek, I did not see any comment from you before. No, I did not. By the way, that's a joke. Before people start saying that DSP said that Elon Musk should date iguanas and shit, I'm just joking. People take offense at everything today. It's ridiculous. They're so wimpy. Yikes. Jasper's in the chat. A bunch of Jasper emotes. Very nice. I have never been to a vacation house. No, I have not. I must confess, the whole concept of a vacation house is foreign to me because I will never have money for a vacation home, or nor will I have friends who are rich enough to go to their vacation home. So I don't even really understand the concept. Yes, Derek. Email me the link to the tier maker. You should do that. Absolutely. I'd like to take a look at it. I can give you some feedback and let you know what I think. I've never been camping. No, I have not. I've been fishing, but never camping. Thoughts on the upcoming videos? I don't know what you mean. You mean today's React videos? I basically, when I make the playlist for the React show, here's what I do. First of all, I got to click on every video and make sure it's not flagged for adults and not flagged for kids. Either one I cannot watch, okay? Then once I've passed that screening, I initially will read the title of the video and essentially click play and make sure that the video works and it's not something incredibly offensive right off the bat. But at most, it's a couple seconds. Then I pause it, and if it looks like it cleared my criteria, I add it to playlist, and I move on. I don't screen the videos. I don't watch the, because what's the point of screening the videos if I'm going to watch them on the show? You know what I mean? So, that's the thing. Like, I don't know what I'm going to watch today. And by the way, Ultra videos are guaranteed to be watched. We're going to at least watch a portion of each one. But the standard member videos are randomized by YouTube. I don't even know what we're going to watch today. I can't have thoughts on when I don't know what we're going to watch, right? All I can say is, please keep up variety. Variety is the key to the React show being good and entertaining. If it's the same kind of videos every week, it gets very played out and boring, okay? Dr. Oink just did a super chat, and he says, it's your boy, Dr. Oink. Can I get an amen? Why would I say amen to you? Are you the Lord Savior who I should be worshiping? I don't think so, Dr. Oink, but I appreciate your super chat. Thank you for that. Jade, it's good to see you. I know you'll be here tonight for Mortal Kombat, right? Because like I said, I think I would need some help with fatalities, and like you recommended, I think I might actually go into, crap. I might go into the fatality training mode just to test them. Because why am I having such difficulties with fatalities? I don't know. It's ridiculous. I've done them in every game before besides this one, so I think I would like to test them tonight. Let's see. Lady Charisma said, do you prefer RPG-like games like Starfield or games that lean into RPG heavies like BioWare and more D&D based games? I think there is an audience and a time for all of them. That's the thing. That's the key to why I feel I have had 15 years of longevity and why I still have the viewer base I have, is because I don't just play the same kind of game or like one. I like everything. I like variety. Variety is keeping my content fresh for everyone. I could play Starfield, but I could also play a turn-based RPG like Chrono Trigger. And they're both great games, in my opinion, that I can enjoy. I don't have a preference. I just like the fact that games are so, varied that we can keep things going fresh, Of course, there's things that are better and worse in each one. Gameplay in a game like Starfield is a lot of shooting stuff. It's very generic. A turn-based gameplay in a game like Chrono Trigger is a lot more strategic. At the same time, you can say that Chrono Trigger is a grind and kind of boring, right? So, everyone has different opinions. I like it all, though. Okay, thank you, Derek. Did I think about making the React show longer? No, we've already talked about this, that the feedback I receive is that even taking out the 3 hours a week to do the React show is too much for my gameplay, that my gameplay is my bread and butter. It's what I'm good at. The React stuff is good as supplementary, but a lot of people want more gameplay, especially this time of year during the big releases. People are upset when I'm taking time out from gameplay. That's why I'm not even doing a special event this month. I've actually done a special event every month this year, and in September I cut it out to have more time to focus on the new games. And the thing is, again, I gotta say this, the React stuff is very different than the gameplay stuff. On a gameplay stream, typically, I get a certain audience, a certain amount of viewership, a certain amount of support. I get ad revenue after the fact on the videos. When I do React content, 90% of the time the videos get claimed. I get absolutely nothing for making those videos. It's all about the support I get during the streams. And admittedly, a lot of the times the React streams are very slow and I don't get much support during them. So I can't increase the amount of content I'm doing React-wise if I'm not seeing the equivalent support to support that. You see what I'm saying? Right now, the gameplay stuff is doing better than the React stuff overall. I'm not saying the React stuff isn't viable. It is, and I'm appreciative of those who are supporting it. I'm still doing the weekly show and enjoying it. But right now, if for example, if people were like, hey, let's do more React stuff, but then I double my number of members over there, well, then it would make sense. Or if every time I streamed a React stream, we were hitting all the goals and everything, then it would make sense to do more React content. But it's not. It's not happening. You'll see today, I guarantee it's probably going to be par for the course. Most React streams I do don't get much support. And that's really all I'm making on that. So I got to do what's right for everyone. That tells me essentially people want to see more gameplay than the general React stuff. You know what I mean? Lord Prince Albert has done a super chat. Says, I might not be the Lord and Savior, but I've arrived full cocked. I'm ready to have fun on this Sunday afternoon. Praise the sun and thank you. Well, thank you, Lord Prince Albert, for the super chat. If you would like me to be honest about React content, here's the truth. I like doing the clip show, but I really like doing long-form React. Like doing a documentary or maybe doing 30 or more minute-long videos. I like doing that. The problem is there's just really no support for that right now. I'm being as honest and transparent as I can be with you guys. I like doing it. It doesn't really do well. The few times this year I did an internet historian all day long. It didn't really do well, right? So even the Wings of Redemption documentary I reacted to this year, it didn't really do that well. So it doesn't really warrant me taking entire days away from gameplay. Do you see? If that were the opposite, if people supported that stuff more, I would do more of it. And the funny part about it was over the years, everyone said, you don't do React content like everyone else. You got to do it. So I did it. And initially last year, when I did some of the biggest dramatic things, like me reacting to the Frederick Knudsen Down the Rabbit Hole video, or me reacting to the John and Howard video, or me reacting to the initial Wings of Redemption documentary, that stuff got attention. But much like everything, what ended up happening was the gimmick of me reacting to stuff stopped being fresh and new, because now Darkside Phil does it every week. So because of that, it doesn't retain the viewership or the support or the interest anymore. And so just like that, kind of falls into line of normal viewership. And that's what I mean. So Here, you want to know what's going to do well? I'll tell you right now. Next year, all right, June the King is doing a full documentary on me. I don't know if you guys knew this or not. He's doing a full-length documentary. Essentially, from what he's saying, it's going to be his longest work ever. Because he's not just going to cover my origins. He's not going to cover this is how you don't play. He's going to cover it the most in-depth of anyone has ever covered on the internet. He's going to cover everything. He's even going to cover my detractors, okay? He's going to go full on into it. And the thing is, every time that he prepares to start work on it, something else happens. Like, he was planning on doing it earlier this year, and then the side-scrollers thing happened. And then the fucking Keemstar bullshit and the Lol Cow podcast bullshit happened. And it just kept going over and over. You know what I'm saying? So for him, he's never been able to, hasn't even sat down yet to begin work because the project just keeps getting more elaborate. Okay? So I'm going to tell you right now, probably one of the biggest react things I'm ever going to do, all right, is when I react to his documentary about me. Because this documentary is probably going to be hours upon hours long. Do you know how much ground there is to cover? I'm a 15-year YouTuber now. And you can even separate it into eras, the early years of immature Darkside Phil and how I became popular. Then how my audience turned on me with this is how you don't play movement. Then there were those middle years, were kind of dark ages of Darkside Phil stuff where I was kind of burnt out and didn't like what I was doing and I was depressed. And then there's kind of the Renaissance movement of me becoming a full-time live streamer. But then how my haters changed, and now instead of being about my content, now they try to delve into my personal life and fucked up things in that regard. I mean, you're talking, there is so much ground to cover, all right? And I will say this. I will absolutely say this up front, all right? Even if this documentary essentially is going to have a lot of it that makes me look bad, because it will, because I've made many, many mistakes over the years, okay? I'm hoping this will be the fairest shake I ever got, because June the King has outright told me he does not want to take input from anyone. He doesn't want to take any input from my haters, and he doesn't want to take any input from me. He wants to do all the research himself. That is admirable. He's not going to do what the side-scrollers did, where he's going to fucking go and just talk to my haters and get all the bullshit and believe it all. He's going to try to take it all in himself and then make the documentary. So, you know, I think it's going to make, of course it's going to make me look bad, because there's so much negative shit about me on the internet. In general, of course it's going to make me look bad. But I think that when I react to that, when he gets it done, which probably admittedly will probably be a year. Seriously, it might take him a year from now to do it. I think that's going to be pretty crazy for me to react to that. And then I said, based on what happens, all right, I'd be possibly willing to do some other stuff with him, like a follow-up, maybe an interview or something after the fact. But we have to see how it goes. You know what I mean? So let's see. But I feel like he's going to give me a fair shake. But like people are saying, well, your react stuff's gotten stale. It's because look what I'm reacting to. We're doing a weekly clip show. And honestly, I've been trying to avoid drama shit. People got tired of me reacting to documentaries that were all drama and nonsense, right? So I really feel like when I finally react to his documentary, that's going to be like the biggest thing I've ever did react-wise. I feel like we're going to have people watching like crazy. You know, the date comes out, everyone's going to watch it, and then I'm going to react to it probably that week, you know, that it comes out, and go from there. So anyway, I got a tip here. We got to end the show soon, by the way. Spawn Killer with another $1 tip said, I started watching you since Fable 2. I saw all your ups and downs. You don't have to apologize. People have bad days. I always stick with you. Thank you, Spawn Killer. That's very nice of you to say that. Okay. Very good. Okay, Derek, again, I'll read your video later, or your email later, and I will respond and let you know. Oguz Sazi, apologies, I have no idea how to pronounce your name. Says, you'll always be one of the best content creators out there. Your dedication to your work and your idealistic perspective is admirable. Your follower from Istanbul. I love you very much. Well, thank you. That's nice of you to say. Thank you for that very much. Those nice, kind words. Istanbul. Where's Istanbul? Where is that? Where in the world is that? I'm horrible at geography. Turkey. Oh, cool. I wonder if I have a big viewership in Turkey. Probably not. Right? I received a gifted membership from Parasolo. It went to Zesty Gimli. Zesty Gimli, be sure to thank Parasolo. Parasolo gifted another one. This one went to Cleo. Congratulations, Cleo. Hope you guys are enjoying your gifted memberships. By the way, it's about 85 degrees in my office right now. Why? Because the window is closed. See what I mean? Even with the air conditioner off and it's cool outside, it's still really freaking hot. You know, I might just rip the freaking air conditioner out of the window at this point. Let me take a look here. Hold on. By the way, Derek... Oh, there it is. Got it. I just want to check. I got your email. I'll take a look at this later. I might take the air conditioner out right now. It's hot in here, man. Yeah, you know what? I think, fuck it. I think I'm going to open the window. I'm too hot and stuffy, and I don't want to turn on the air conditioner. So I think I might do that. I think I might just open the window, take all the air conditioner shit out of it, turn it off, push it over there, and get the fans on full blast for today. I think it might make sense to do it. I think it's finally going to be fall time. Yeah. No, I don't want to turn the AC on. I'm tired of it. I just had the AC on for so many months. I've had enough. I need fresh air. It's stuffy as shit in here. Why do you think some days I come in and my throat sounds awful? I'm the nasal... I need fresh air in here, man. I can't take it anymore. It's driving me nuts. JDTV, thanks for 3 months of support. He said, I get emotional during gameplay a lot, by the way. You know what? That's because there's passion. Because you have passion. That's why. And passion is important in life. All right. I think what we're going to do, I think I'm going to end the show. All right. And I think I'm going to swap over to DSP Reacts. We're going to get everyone on board. And it's going to run probably like 15, 20 minutes while I rip out the air conditioners. Seriously. I think that's what I'm going to do because I've had enough of this baloney. And I need to get fresh air in here. It's killing me. So let's do that. Let's end the podcast. Let's take a break for about 20 minutes while I get this air conditioner out of the window. I get some fresh air coming in here. All right. Full blast. And I hope that you guys will join me for the React show in about 15, 20 minutes. Sound good? Thank you all. Great podcast today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. And I will see you all tomorrow when we'll talk about how it went. We'll also talk about more invasion mode in MK1 and any news. Thank you guys. I will see you soon.